Today, we're talking about importance and dropping importance in transurfing on Tuesday. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Kathy Owen, certified fitness trainer and life coach since 2002, teaching others the stop the mind screw process. On this channel, we talk about fitness, wellness, mindset, habits, and even some reality transurfing. Today's Tuesday, so we're talking transurfing on Tuesday. We're talking specifically about dropping importance. From the book Reality Transurfing, we are discussing this quote. People will always find ways of justifying their actions, claiming that their path is too densely strewn with obstacles and that for them, something always goes wrong. That something, of course, is balanced forces and pendulums that arise as a consequence of the excess potential generated by their self-importance. Vadim, Zeland, Reality Transurfing. You know, importance is such a huge topic in reality transurfing. And if you do not drop importance, like he said, balanced forces and pendulums will arise as a consequence of the excess potential. What does all that mean, Kathy? Balanced forces are what happens in life when you put something on a pedestal and you make it super duper important. It's going to come down. It's going to come down. And the pendulums are, as I always say, thought structures that everybody thinks, and they're just contagious and only want your energy. They're prods from the pendulum. And excess potential also comes from putting something on a pedestal. You create excess potential and you become a big old bully / snob. That's how I describe excess potential. Back in 2020, I joined Toastmasters in early 2020, and I started giving speeches on reality transurfing because most people didn't know what that book was. And one of my speeches was talking about the things that I talk about in Stop the Mind Screw that relate to reality transurfing. Those things are advantage, find advantage in everything, outer intention, which I talked about last week, importance, which we're talking about today, and pendulums. And my speech was all about find advantage in everything, keep importance low, and outer intention high. And after my speech, I was approached by somebody in the group. And the guy came up to me and he was talking about his family in China in his speech. Mind you, this was January of 2020, but his question was impactful. He said, "How do you drop importance when it comes to family? And I'm worried about my family in China." And I'm like, oh. I said the only thing I knew how to say, that's the hardest importance to drop. Why? Because importance with family is in us. It's in our heart. It's in our soul. And you can't just say, oh, there goes another one, or that just happened. Just let it go. I'm dropping importance. Absolutely not. And actually, that's probably one of the hardest concepts to grasp in transurfing, the importance. And because of this reason. But when I talk about importance, I did find a way to let go of importance a long time ago. And actually, I learned it through the book A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And he talks about telling stories to ourselves and how we make things so important and so extravagant that we put it up on a pedestal. I've talked about this before in a previous episode, how I would tell everybody who would listen my story. My story was so full of drama and it was very intriguing. But I wasn't doing anything with that. I was giving my power away by telling everybody my sob story. One thing about me is I can spot a bully a mile away like a hawk can spot a little bitty mouse a mile away, and they can. And here's why. I have been bullied all of my life. All of my life. And a bully is as simple as this: they would rather be right than kind. 100% of the time. They would rather be right than kind. And when that happens, all my triggers go off. When I see somebody being bullied, when I experience bullying myself, or if I just happen to be in a situation that triggers my emotional response to bullying. When I think of importance, I think of entitlement. And I go back to the person on the airplane who gets in an argument about their airplane seat. So much so that it ends up in a lawsuit and they get into big fights. And have you ever watched an argument and thought to yourself, which one is the bigger dummy? Which one is the bigger idiot? Arguments are the best place to drop importance. Why? Simply because they're probably the easiest place to practice importance. For example, if the person who got told that they have to leave the airplane because their seat was given to somebody else, rather than raising an entitled argument, simply grab your belongings and get off the plane peacefully, rather than making a big fool of yourself, which rightfully so, you are mad. I mean, I can give you countless examples of where I was bullied and rightfully so, I could have gotten mad. But I dropped importance because when I did that, I was able to see things differently. So if the person on the airplane that's griping about their seat, and rightfully so, heck yes, but they get off the airplane and they go outside and they sit down and they think, there must be a reason for this. And all of a sudden they go, well, I've got to wait 3 hours for the next flight, so I might as well go have a cocktail at the bar. And they go have a cocktail at the bar and they start watching a game on TV and they're like talking to the person that's sitting next to them and they make a connection. Who knows what kind of connection that is? Maybe it's for a job that they were seeking, or maybe it was a mate that they've been wanting to meet, or maybe it's a friend that you make that's going through the same thing you are. And then when you look back, you go, I dropped importance on that airplane flight. I went and sat down and had a cocktail at the bar, and I met this person, and this happened. Or who knows? It could be something totally different. Keep your mind open to dropping importance and not make such a big deal about everything. I want to bring up another quote from Vadim that simply tells you how to handle reducing importance. He says, there is a very simple way of reducing importance, which is to come to terms with the possibility of defeat at the beginning. Unless you accept the possibility of defeat, you will not eliminate the desire. So what does that mean? To me, that means you have a desire for an airplane seat. But before you got on the airplane, you accepted the fact that there's a possibility of defeat here. I could lose my seat. Because honestly, that is a chance that you take on every flight. And that's a possibility that could happen to you. So when you accept that possibility of defeat, you're not giving in to the excess potential. You're not giving in to the pendulum, but you are giving in to balanced forces, which balanced everything out. And doesn't it feel better than getting in an argument and making a fool of yourself because you don't know who's the bigger idiot? And furthermore, it's always better to be kind than right. All right, that's my episode for today. I hope you liked it. If you know somebody who can benefit from them, and hopefully not a person who got in an argument over an airplane seat, but maybe it could be, please share this with them. And until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace out and namaste.